All right, Pep Man Matt Mark, on the varsity here with Myers Park head football coach Scott Chadwick. Coach, talk to me a little bit about yourself and your coaching background.
Well, actually beginning my 20th year as a head coach.
Oh, wow.
Kind of realized that the other day as I was looking at things. First 8 years, I was a head coach in Maryland, 2 schools in Maryland,
Okay.
which is where I'm originally from the D.C. area. I was a head coach at 2 schools there. I was head coach at Bowie High School in Bowie, Maryland. Was there 4 years. I won the 2001 4A state championship, Maryland championship at Bowie.
Okay.
Spent 4 years at Lackey High School, which is in southern Maryland. Went to 2 state championships and a regional championship in the 4 years I was at Lackey.
Oh, wow.
And then I moved south. Kids got older. Cost of living had changed dramatically up north and was better in the south, so we moved south. Spent 2 years in Georgia at Greenbrier High School in Georgia as the head coach and athletic director there.
Okay.
And then moved to Charlotte around 2008, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Marvin Ridge for 5 years. And this would be my 5th year at Myers Park.
All right. And the thing about you is you've won everywhere you've gone, and you got a great track record. And we enjoy watching your teams play. They play the game the right way.
Well, been fortunate to be at those places at the right times with some pretty good players.
Yes, sir. Where did you get your coaching philosophy from?
Well, I grew up. My father was a high school football coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in a high school football family.
Okay.
You know, my dad was a coach from the time I was a kid, and when he was a head coach, I was fortunate that to be around some really good assistant coaches of his, and learned a lot from them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of learned how to be an assistant when I was an assistant from those guys, and certainly, I took a lot from my father. I took a lot from the first head coach that I was an assistant under, Bill Rumbaugh, up in Maryland. I learned a lot from him.
Okay.
And then I guess on a broader scale, I grew up in the D.C. area and was a big fan of the Redskins, and obviously was a very big follower in what Joe Gibbs did. And I've been fortunate the last few years to have developed a really good relationship with Coach and been able to spend a lot of time with him, and still, I'll go to lunch or breakfast with him every now and then, and still continue to pick his brain on things.
All right. That's excellent. Some great role models to follow. Tell me about the best game you've ever coached in.
Again, back in Maryland there, we played late in the season many times. I mean, it's hard. Like I said, this will be my 20th year. It's hard to pin one down. There were certainly a regional championship game in Maryland where we scored with 15 seconds left to win when I was at Lackey. But since I've been here, I would say 2010.
Okay.
When I was at Marvin Ridge, we were 3 or 4-0. Played Audrey Kell, who was also 3 or 4-0. I think that night we sold something like 6,500 tickets.
Oh, wow.
It was a crazy atmosphere. Unbelievable amount of talent on the field that night. Audrey Kell had the quarterback who was a real good baseball player that went to App. And Justice Pickett who went to Maryland and Tennessee. Had the Owens kid who went to South Carolina.
Yep.
We had KJ Brent back then. My son was our quarterback. And I think we scored with 20 seconds left to beat them like 38-35, and still they had a Hail Mary on the last play of the game even after that. So it just went back and forth, and I think if you talk to Coach Hastings, who's now at Providence Day, probably one of the best games. But the other one, 2 years ago, our second round playoff game versus Vance.
Oh yeah, what a barn burner!
I tell you, it was probably for football played at a high level. You talk about a game that was in overtime. It was 38 all or 35 all going to overtime.
Yep.
No turnovers. I think there were less than 5 penalties in the game. Just a bunch of really great players on both sides, just making play after play all night.
Yeah.
and great atmosphere, great crowd out here the day after Thanksgiving. Even though it didn't turn out as well for us, still probably one of the best football games I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, we were there. Our partner Dale Ross was there. He was just so amazed by that game, and he talked about it for a long time. It's a good one. Talk me about the team goals this year for Myers Park.
Well, I think we want to continue to move up. We've built on things since I've been here. 2 years ago, winning 11 games, tying a school record. Last year, winning 12 games, sharing the conference championship for the first time in however many years it's been. Advancing to the quarterfinals. So we want to continue the upward climb. We really want to put ourselves in a position, to compete for the state championship this year. And again, 11, 12, try to continue to win more games.
Okay, excellent. Some players we can look out for this year for you guys.
Well, I think this is, I think we're a pretty talented group. Offensively, I think we'll start with our two receivers, Elijah Bowick, who, I don't really care what all the rankings and the rivals think. I think he's the best receiver in the state.
I have to agree.
I think he's the best receiver in the state. I think when you look at the production he's put up over the last 2 years against the competition, he's done it against. He's a football player, and you throw Musa Muhammad in there with him, and I really challenge somebody to find a better pair of receivers, in the state than those two guys. And then we've also, I think, on the offensive line, we have Jalen Nichols at right tackle, who's committed to South Carolina. At left tackle, we have Jawan Truesdale, who's got, several offers, and so we've got a pretty good pair of bookend tackles there. Jack Moy, our center, is a 3-year starter. At running back, Jaquez Robinson's been, a guy that's carried the load for us going into his 3rd year now. And then, we have Drake May, who's transferred over from Huff at quarterback. And, we've had some really good ones here. My first year we had Clay Norris, who, has been the starter at Georgetown. We had Jack Davidson for those couple years, who's at North Carolina. Last year we had Braden Hawkins, who signed with UTEP. I think Drake's got the chance to be the best of all of them. Potentially he could be the best we've ever had here. And Riley McKeon is a senior who's been in our program for 3 years at that spot too. So I feel like we're in pretty good shape offensively. Defensively, depending on the night, we bring back 7, 8, 9 starters on defense. And I think the strength of our defense is probably our secondary. Cameron Roseman Sinclair, who I think was named one of the top 50 rising juniors by Under Armour. As a 3-year starter at safety. Trey Bly at corner, just committed to Charlotte's a 3-year starter at corner. Jordan Brown, our other corner, has had a great off season, and I think is going to be a great compliment to Trey on the other side. And then linebacker Jake Harkle was our leading tackler last year, and he's back. Jordan King is a 4-year varsity player on the defensive line. At 380, gives us a big body there on the D line, and so we've got pieces. I think right now our biggest thing, we're trying to build some depth behind all these guys.
Right, that's a very talented group, Coach, for sure. My last question: tell me the best thing about coaching in Charlotte.
Well, in Charlotte, I think first of all the amount of very, very good teams in Charlotte. I think you only have to look at when you look at the 4AA bracket every year, and you see things like 2 years ago Myers Park and Vance in a 2nd round game.
Right.
Last year Myers Park and Butler in a 2nd round game. And it's not because it's a screw up in the bracket. It's just because there's so many good teams that you're getting great 2nd round matchups because of the amount of very good football teams here in Charlotte.
Yes, sir.
And I think obviously every year that West 4AA West generally comes down to 2 Charlotte teams against each other.
Yep.
So I think that's the key. I think the other good thing about Charlotte, if you're a player or a coach in Charlotte, is the media exposure you get.
Yeah.
You know, with you guys and a couple of the other guys on the internet that cover us well.
Mm-hmm.
Our first practice on Monday, we had Channel 9, the ABC affiliate. We had Channel 3, the CBS affiliate out here.
Mm-hmm.
We had Spectrum News.
Yeah.
Mike Solarty was out here.
Oh yeah.
All those out here for a practice.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course on Friday night you've got not one, not two, but three different highlight shows on a Friday night on all those channels. So
yes, sir.
I think if you're a player or a coach in Charlotte, I think the media exposure you get is pretty special.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Coach, I think you guys are going to do big things this year once again, and we appreciate the time, and we look forward to seeing another big season here at Myers Park.
Appreciate you guys being here.